I talked to you about how to define panic a lot. Talk about during the course of a season because fans, this is their specialty. Oh my God, we stink. Oh my God, we're never going to win another game. Oh my God, the season's over. I loved, as a president of a team, which I was for 18 years, to be able to say to fans, hey, don't you panic. I'll tell you when to panic, and it's not quite yet. The reason why that makes me laugh is that inside, I was always panicked. But outside, I was the flight attendant that while the plane was going down was serving Coca-Cola. I'm the guy on the Titanic who's playing the violin saying, don't you like my music? Could you go put on a life jacket and maybe a little pair of pants if you don't mind? When my season is in the crapper, I'm saying to you, we got this. We're just going to fire a manager. We'll make a trade or two, and boom, we'll be there in October. Well, there are teams every year that are supposed to be good and then get off to poor starts. And it's only a matter of time before the GM of the team starts talking to the media because the GM of the team is thinking, oh God, we have a slight problem here. And I think other people are noticing it, so I better talk. The thing about Elias, who's the GM, Orioles GM, just think about the Orioles organization. They're a young team that's been in the playoffs. They've done a perfect rebuild. They've got great young players, maybe one of the best players in all of baseball in Gunnar Henderson. They're off to a 6-10 start. They've had injuries up the wazoo. They had a rotation that lost Corbin Burns to the Diamondbacks for $200 million plus. They signed a couple of people in order to help them, the Charlie Mortons of the world, trying to get one-year deals, trying to hang on to complement the core of position players they have. I get the plan. And then the plan goes up in smoke when you've got two major injuries to your rotation. You know, Grayson's out, Eflin's down, Zach and Rodriguez, they're out, they're hurt. And now you're starting guys who shouldn't be starting. You're testing your depth, but your payroll isn't big enough to have depth, just like the Dodgers with their huge number one payroll. Even they can't deal with the starting pitching injuries that happen and underperformance. So what do? You hope that your position players can overcome the crappy ERA. The way the Los Angeles Angels now are doing. They are clubbing home runs. They are scoring runs in bunches, and it overcomes their mediocre pitching. The problem is when you have mediocre pitching, which the Orioles do, you have to have top-of-the-line offense. The Orioles' starting pitching ERA is the worst in baseball. Their overall ERA is like second to last in the American League. Generally, you're not going to make the playoffs. You have to be in the middle or above in pitching and the middle or above in hitting, both, in order to really give yourself a chance. And if you're going to be below average in one, you better be way above average in the other. But the problem is when you talk about panicking and about your 6-10 start, the media then starts thinking about, well, what else should we be talking about? And what do you think is the number one topic that is asked of baseball executives these days? Because for some reason, fans and media are obsessed over it. Why aren't we extending our young players? Look at all these other teams who are locking up their players for multiple years. What about us? And you have to address in a way that doesn't make your fans or media feel like they're moronic, because it is true that there are teams who are doing it. But there's just as big a reason not to do it, which I've explained on this show. All you're getting is cost certainty, and you are basically letting a player off the hook for injury or non-performance for a feel-good article that, oh, the player is signed for an extra 2 years in free agency, where the odds are way more often that those deals don't work. There's a new owner in Baltimore who is ready, willing, and able to spend money, but he's not a dope. Why would he approve doing something that he puts in his mathematical equation that says this doesn't work? Why do I need to do something to appease fans when the truth is what they really want is to win, which is what I used to think. And then I came to realize when I took my cynic pills is that it's not that fans just want to win. It's that fans want to win doing it the way the fans want to do it if they were having the job or if they talk about having the job during a random Tuesday at work or at home or at a bar. And so what fans say is spend money. Then when you spend money and lose, fans get upset, like at the Dolphins. You stink, Stephen Ross. He spends money. You stink, Rogers Communications and Edward Rogers. Man, they spend money. But when you spend money and lose, we spent money one year and lost, crushed. And think about it. The young players the Orioles have are already signed. Adley Rutschman still has 2 years left after this. Henderson has 3 years left after this. Little Holiday, Jackson Holiday has 2 years of pre-arb still. They're so young. You don't have to panic sign anybody, and your window is still open. To win with young players outperforming their contract is the only way to win if you're not in LA. It's to make your winning windows last as long as possible and then allow for the window to close and then rebuild it back to the window opening. Otherwise, you're a play-in team every single year. You're a middle-of-the-road 80-win team and no one wants to be there. You either want to be dominant and what happens in the playoffs, or you want to stink while you're retooling, rebuilding. When you sign too many of these young guys to contracts, you are strangling yourself and your future payroll and your ability to properly manage your window. So what if David Rubenstein, what if Elias and the Orioles and Brandon Hyde, what if they actually have it figured out in a way that works? May not win a World Series, but it's been working on the field. It's been working off the field. I think Elias should have just met the media, looked right in the camera and said, hey, it's just business.